What is up, guys? Raven here, and let's talk Xbox. Let's talk about the Game Pass. So, I was fighting with myself, should I cancel a subscription for the last 2 weeks since they actually announced the increase of the price? And I was fighting, right? This was the inner battle. And literally 10 minutes ago, I did that. I did cancel my subscription, and I wanted to talk here about the reason why. Because those were really intense 2 weeks of thinking, right? Especially that for the month of October, I would still have the previous price, that it would go up until 8th of November, and then the increase would happen, right? So I still could have had this like one more month because of the reoccurring billing for the previous price, for the cheaper one, but I decided not to pay, right? I decided to cancel. So the first things first, let's get the elephant in the room. We know it's gonna be wait, I have to open it in front of me. It's gonna be $30 per month, right, for Ultimate, and that was the subscription that I had. I had Ultimate, so that was what 15, 16, something like that, right? Or 20. Because again, I have to do the currency exchange in my head because I hadn't Polish zloty, right? So yeah, something like that. So it wasn't that bad for all those games, for EA Play and for Ubisoft Plus, right? Like it wasn't that bad for all those like 3 years that I had this Game Pass Ultimate, right? Like in the past, I had it like on and off when there was like a discount, right, or like $1 for a month for reoccurring people, right, who are coming back. And I am really glad that I had this Game Pass, and that was my thing, right? So those were my pros and cons in my head. I was really happy and glad that I had this Game Pass because I was able to play so many games, right? Especially day one, that normally I would not be able to purchase because of their price on the release day, right? We can say Wu Chang, we can say I won't say Dragon's Dogma because my gameplay of Dragon's Dogma is playing. What else was there? Indiana Jones, right? I wouldn't say Lies of P because Lies of P was there, I think, as well, right? So Lies of P, let's say that, but I do have it in in a physical copy, and many others, right? So even the Gears of War Reloaded that came out quite recently, and I was genuinely happy. Right, I was like, okay, I get my big release once per 2 months, let's say, right? Yakuza, right, when the Man Who Erased His Name came out, I was like, fantastic, I don't have to go and purchase it, the digital version, because there was no physical copy for Xbox, right? At least not in my country. I think now it kind of changed, right? But I remember there was like an issue with the release of physical copies. The same with Infinite Wealth, right? That they've added it later. For certain regions, but coming back on track. So I was okay with that because I had my indies, I had those day ones, I had some EA games that I enjoyed, right? As I was able to play Wild Hearts, so there were those games. But I kind of noticed that even though I have my Game Pass, I am still craving physical copies. I am still a person that is gonna go and try to find a really good deal on a physical copy, right? Again, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a great example of that, because this is a game that is not available in Game Pass. It's been a year since it was released, so I was like, alright, maybe this is a time to play, because I really wanted to play it on release, but again, I had a Game Pass to pay, and I had a subscription for cinema. Yes, like you can pay like $9.99 to cinema, and you can watch ultimate amount of movies throughout the month, right? So I have that due to the Ravenreset.com, right? The blogspot, right? So that was that, and this Dragon's Dogma got me thinking, because that game didn't go down below $20, right? Like in my market that's around me, it's still 25, which to me it's like, okay, this is literally a subscription of a Game Pass, and this is a game I will play for a month, right? I am not rushing the game because I can tell you right now, as the time of the recording, I'm in the end game. I'm doing the true ending, So it's been what, 3 weeks, right, of me playing this game. Without rushing, and this is on the shorter side of games, because this is a game that is like 30 hours, so this is short currently, right? And it got me thinking, like, okay, so I pay my dollars to Game Pass that I am not really using, because now I'm playing the game I've purchased physically, that I'm having more fun that I would have by playing games from Game Pass, because there's like nothing more for me there to play currently, right? Like everything I wanted to play in the Game Pass I've already did, right? The only 3 games that I'm like, and that was me fighting, I was like, shit, I would love to play them, were Tomb Raider games, right? All 3 of them, and they are in Game Pass, the definitive editions, right? There's a trilogy. But at the same time, when I went online this morning and I saw that all 3 of them together, they cost $20, right? So they cost less than a month of Ultimate that will give me those 3 games. So I was like, that doesn't make sense to me, right? Store rewards. Oh, okay. About that I'm gonna talk in a bit, because this is something that also kind of pissed me off. Alright, so I was like, alright, what about EA Play? Dragon Age Veilguard, I finished it, I have the physical copy, right? Assassin's Creed games, I have physical copies, right? So this is this whole thing that I had in my head, that all the games that actually were in Game Pass, I played. The ones I wanted, I finished, right? Indiana Jones I loved, but I do love the physical copy of that, right? So on one hand I had this, thing that I thought, alright, it gave me so many games, right? Like Wu-Chang probably I would never purchase, because I don't even know if it came out, as a physical copy in my region, right? To be fair, I'm just gonna check, right? So Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers Xbox. Okay, so it came out, right? So it's now $50. Brand new, so I'm assuming new or like used copy is gonna be a bit less, right? So I mean, cool. I've played for what, 3-4 weeks this game, loved it, enjoyed it. But that was 1 month, and then what is next, right? Like you either gonna go and purchase a new game, or you're like sitting there and you're like, okay, what I'm just gonna kill my time with until the new day 1 game comes out in Game Pass. So you have those months when waste the money, actually, right? At the certain point. So for me, and I don't know, like this is really weird. I didn't even use like online play, because I don't play online. I prefer single player games, right? I mean, online I've used for what, Dragon's Dogma, for pawns, right? As you can tell. So that's that. All right, sure, but nothing else, right? And again, I can still go back to $9.99 if I want to go and play online, and still it's gonna be a lot better for me. But let's talk about the other selling point, which is you can play and earn up to $100 a year in the store rewards. Fantastic. In my country, the store doesn't work. How about that? Because you have this like reward system, right? Xbox rewards. It doesn't fucking work in my country. For 5-6 years, I think, for many years, right? And I've tried on many consoles, and I've asked a lot of my friends, and yeah, it just doesn't work. So this is out of the gate, not for me. Cool. What they say, stream games at your best quality. I am not streaming the games, and I'm talking about I don't have any device to stream that on. That is just it, right? I don't play League of Legends, I don't play Call of Duty Warzone. So already I am not using half of what they are offering. And then you do the other calculation, which is something that you should do, because you have to think, what is going to be the yearly cost of that, and is that worth it, right? So it is what, $360, right? 30 times 12, right? So that's $360. Estimate like it's 350 something. How many games on, I wouldn't say like even on release, right? But even as used ones 3 months, 5 months after the release you can get for this amount of money. A lot, right? That are a lot better, because let's be honest, currently when you go and play game day one, majority of the time you're pissed because shit doesn't work. It generally half of the shit that is in the game doesn't work, so you have to still wait for patches, you have to wait for stuff, right? And you're just there to beta test the game. So this also was my strategy for many, many years, and you know it's gonna continue. That I always waited like 2, 3, 4, up to half a year before I purchased a physical copy of the game. You know, when it was released. Of course, Metal Gear Solid Delta is a different story. That is day one purchase. The same goes with Yakuza. Those are the two purchases for me that are day one, because I love that. Those are the games I love, and I will purchase them day one. I don't care if they are shit. It's just the way it is, right? So let's assume they would, you know, drop down even to 70% of the price as a used copy. Then you can have literally almost what? 8 really good games out of that. If they would drop from, you know, $60 to $50, that is what? I'm not good at math, so wait, 5, 10, 15, that's 6, 7 games, right? So you have 6, 7 really good games, or a couple of ones that you'll have day one, that you own. This is also the thing, that you own, that no one is gonna take away from you, right? Because my thing that, you know, pissed me off many years ago about Game Pass was I was playing Dragon Quest 11. And it was still is fantastic game. I love it, and I was finishing Act 1, right, of the story, and they took it out of the Game Pass, and I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna just go and purchase the game in the Xbox store, and I saw the price that literally was $60, and I go like, okay, what the fuck? At this point, I own the Ultimate, and I don't have even a discount for the game you've taken out. So I have to pay, literally back then, more than Ultimate to finish my game. So what I did was I just purchased the game for $5 on PS4, and I'm like 2 hours from finishing it on PS4, but you know I put it on hold because it really, after 70 hours it kind of got to me. But it's on the channel, right, on the Ravenreset plays. And things like that are, you know, frequent. Yakuza games, right? I'm glad that I was able to play through all those games on Xbox, because there's like no legit way of, I mean, you can buy digital version, right? But you know, there's no physical copies, right? I think they announced them now of Kiwami 1 and 2, right? But yeah, there's like no other way than just buying from their store. So I'm glad that, you know, it was in Game Pass, I was able to play, but I already owned the versions on PS4. So you might say, okay, then there was no reason of playing them on Xbox. I was like, yeah, I could have finished them on PS4, absolutely. And the more I think about it, the more I just see the issue of that Game Pass. That cool that you can play online, but if you don't do that, it doesn't even matter, right? If you had a Game Pass for at least a year, you already feel that you're fed up with the games that are there, that you've played exactly what you wanted in the first 3, 4, 5 months, let's say, right? You've played all the exclusives, you've played all the games you needed, you wanted, you know, you masturbated to, and that is it. And you wait. So you play like, I don't know, like Rise, Sons of Rome, or whatever this shit. Which is, again, Rise, Sons of Rome, really cool game, to be honest with you, right? But you do that, and then what else? They add Hogwarts Legacy. Great, I've bought the game, you know, on the first week of release, because there was, you know, Harry Potter. I love the game, fantastic. I don't need it now. They add Assassin's Creed games. They cost $5. I mean, what is the current cost of Odyssey? Let's just go, you know what? eBay. Because AC Odyssey. eBay.com. Right? So what is the price of Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Because a friend of mine was like, yeah, you know, you'll see that thanks to the Assassin's Creed games, now the Game Pass is even more worth it. I was like, oh, shut the up, right? So let's just see. And again, I'm using eBay just to say $4, 5, 6. Like literally, this is what I see now, right? So you can have, and bear with me with that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origin, and Valhalla, right? And I would assume also Valhalla with the DLC, right? This set. I'm not sure about Mirage because it came out 2 years ago, but out of my own curiosity, I'll double check. But I wouldn't say so that this is gonna be that cheap. Yeah, this is like a bit more. But you can have 3 really decent Assassin's Creed games for half of the Game Pass Ultimate. And you'll play them for 3 months, 4 months, or even more. Because those are like really large games. Some, you know, a bit boring at times, but yeah. So why the fuck? I'm pissed. Because it was such a, you know, to some people, it was such a good deal. Especially if, you know... No, not even, because I wanted to say, like, especially if you were from poor family. But no, fuck it. If you're from poor family, you can just go and buy second-hand games for even more than half the price. That are really good. Right? And if you're poor, you don't have the FOMO of like, okay, yeah, I have to play this shit day one. I must do that. I have to go and play. But even if, alright, you know, the 70, not 70, Jesus Christ, $20, well, wasn't that bad. Unacceptable is $360 per year. It's an unacceptable price that I am not willing to pay. And I love Xbox with everything. I genuinely love the console. My wife loves it. But this is too much. I genuinely rather go and have a brand new game once per year on day one than go and support this practice. And I was pissed about Nintendo. Because, I mean, about Sony I'm not even going to talk, right? Because the fact that, you know, you pay so much just to have a save in the cloud, it's the greediest shit I've seen, the same as with Nintendo, right? Here, at least you have for free save in the cloud. But still. Yeah, I'm just ranting, and I have my morning coffee. But yeah, I'm ranting because it baffles me that you would make such a move and just lose money. Right? Of course, you might say, yeah, Game Pass was already kind of losing money because it is an unsustainable model. Yeah, sure. But with this economy, you have to think about the pricing of services. Especially you have people already paying a lot for other subscriptions, right? You have your Netflixes, you have your Disney Plus, you have literally, you have subscription on everything. So it's natural that if you're gonna increase by $10 per month, this does ruin budgets. And people are not 18, they are not 16 in their bedrooms with dick in their hand just jerking off to Game Pass. Because let's be honest, if I would be 16, I would be like, screw that, I can have all those games, let's go, right? You know, the Master Baton 5000, let's go, right? I would just be happy because I wouldn't be able to afford, you know, anything else. But people have lives, other bills to pay. So if I can save now $30, fuck, I'm gonna do that. To be even fair, I would rather go and purchase more comic books. Books in general. I'm pissed. But I want to hear your opinion on that. Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, the Dragon Quest Sorry, not Dragon's, but Dragon's Dogma. As you can see, right, it's oh no, you can't see. Yeah, it's Ravenreset Place. It will come because this is not this is a video that is not yet on the channel. I have to put it there, right? So just privated. But you see, this is the game that it's coming, and at the end of the October, I believe. So to the channel. So then I think Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws that I've bought for $5. What a steal, right? Like, this is the thing. You can still have games for cheap that are good. Star Wars Outlaws is a good fucking game. But no. Xbox, you had to. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Take care.